Hello there folks and welcome back to the Ashes Cricket 2009 playthrough, and today we start the fourth test of the Ashes series. For the first time in 20 episodes we lead the Ashes by 2 matches to 1. Now just a bit of a summary so far for you guys that might be new to the channel. The first test we were beaten quite considerably. It was that first innings that did it really. Our first experience of Ashes Cricket 2009 batting. And that 152 ultimately proved fatal. You can see we had the batting ability in the second innings. We got 578, but even that wasn't enough to stop 2 good Australian innings. But it was the opposite in the second test match. Our batting was very good. Our bowling even better. In the first innings we got Australia out for 120. Then we batted really strongly, got a 430, and we beat Australia after losing by 5 wickets, by the way, and beating them by an innings in 67 runs. The same can be said in the last match. We would have won by an innings, but they did put us in to bat first. They won the toss for the first time, put us into bat. It wasn't a fantastic innings, but the Australia innings really proved poor of 94. Gave us a lead of 183 going into that second innings. We then put on 309 with a brilliant 74 from tail-ender Ryan Sidebottom to make it a lead of 500 odd. And Australia could only reply with 154, and 106 of those were put on by a short partnership between Mike Hussey and Brad Haddin. But Jimmy Anderson taking 11 wickets to really help us to win the match. That's where we are, heading to the fourth test at Headingley. Now, a few changes for Australia. We respect what they've done in real life, so these are the 11 players that played for Australia in real life. So Shane Watson keeps his opening spot, Katic at 2. This is all pretty normal apart from the fact that Stuart Clark comes in at number 10 to replace Nathan Hauritz, who goes to 12th man. Peter Siddle's moved up the order to number 9 rather than 10 whereas before, and Stuart Clark displaces him there. But as well as honouring the things that happen in real life for the Australians, we have honoured that Andrew FLINTOFF missed out in this test match due to injury. And obviously FLINTOFF, all-rounder, big bowler, big batsman, so really tough to replace FLINTOFF. So what we've done, we've moved things around a little bit. We've juggled things around a little bit. Firstly, Michael Vaughan comes in. The veteran Michael Vaughan to replace FLINTOFF. I mean, if you look at the people on the bench, we haven't really got anyone who can bat as well as him. Maybe Ravi Bopara, maybe. But we've got a few all-rounders. Truly nobody's going to match Andy FLINTOFF. But I thought Michael Vaughan, he's got the experience and he can be solid. So what we've done, to try and get him to return to form, Alistair Cook's gone down to number 4. Not as much pressure to be an opener. That means Peterson moves down to number 6 again. Not playing too well at the moment, so maybe a bit of a more aggressive role will suit him. But opening up, we have Andrew Strauss and Michael Vaughan, a left-right-hand partnership. We'll have to see how they go. But without any further ado, let's get to Headingley, shall we, for the fourth Ashes test. I'm really excited for this, of course. It's a similar situation to real life in 2019. But obviously in England's way. It looks a little bit cloudy on day 1, but no problem with that. 26 degrees, a nice summer's day here in Leeds. But, of course, in real life in 2009, I think we were 2-1 up. And then because we missed out on FLINTOFF, the Australians really beat us by a real big amount. I think it was over an innings, which meant that it went down to the last test at the Oval. Will this go down to the Oval? Let me know down in the comments what you think. I think a lot of it depends on this choice. We're going to go with heads this time. I just got a gut feeling that we're going with heads. This bit of the match, even though there's hundreds of overs to be played, this has proved pivotal, arguably, in the last 2 matches. And Australia make it 2-2 in terms of tosses. Interesting. They had the toss in the last match. They chose to field. I think this time, it's not exactly clear, but I think they have chosen to bat. So we are going to have a bowl. And Australia haven't had a good innings since that first match. What a time to turn it round it would be. Just checking that is Australia coming out to bat. No, it's us coming out to bat. It's a little bit confusing because you can't tell what option they've picked. But they have come out and had a field, so scrap that. We are coming out to bat. Michael Vaughan straight away under the pressure of the Headingley crowd. And the first over of this innings, the England innings, will be bowled by Mitchell Johnson. Here we go then. And a no ball to start us off. It's actually hit Andrew Strauss. Not the best start for us, but it's a no ball. But it would have been wide of the off stump anyway. So Michael Vaughan coming in. Why have I made that decision? Well, as I've said, there wasn't really anybody better, and I'm not that fussed. I think we ought to give Vaughan a chance, and plus the fact it's for a bit of old time's sake as well. It'd be great to see Michael Vaughan back at it again. And I think it's a realistic decision. It's an understandable decision. Alistair Cook's been quite poor. Strauss has got into gear a little bit. Not fantastic, but has been churning away 30s and 40s. And Maybe Cook's got a little bit unlucky a few innings, been run out, etc, etc. But really, it's not been good enough from Cook. So we can't take him out of the squad. We've proven that we haven't got good enough options available to us. So Michael Vaughan represents the most experienced player there. We could have brought Bapara in, but Bapara's not an opener, and I wanted to move Alistair Cook down the order a little bit anyway. So Michael Vaughan was the only one who could play at opener and facilitate that. So, I mean, to be honest, from the last test, it could be Ryan Sidebottom that played at opener, but there you go. Going to try a shot to the leg side. Good shot, and it's a no ball. So Strauss officially off the mark. Bear in mind, it was a no ball, of course, before. We'll just go for 2. And that is good running from the 2 openers. And a no ball, so that gives us 3. And, of course, another ball to face. We've already faced 5 balls, but 2 no balls from Mitchell Johnson in the first 5. Another bouncer here. This is a tempter. And we're always good at playing these bouncers. That is going to be another few runs. Don't think it's quite got the legs to get to the boundary. But we'll just go for 2 again. We don't want to do anything too stupid. We've been classics at doing that. I think in the last 2 innings we've been sort of 50 for 3. I know Australia have been much worse. But again, this is all about trying to build a good lead in the first innings, which is exactly what we want to do. What we haven't mastered yet is a good opening partnership. So that would be great to have here. But another whack again from Mitchell Johnson. Another bouncer. So we're going to give it a whack. And that's our first boundary of the match. Again, some of you guys probably saying, well, it's stupid to be having a whack in the first over. When they're bowling bouncers like that, it's so easy to play them. So it's pointless defending. It's actually worse to defend those shots because you get yourself in a real spot of bother. But off the first over, I'm just going to defend this one out. But it's another no ball. So Mitchell Johnson in the first over will have bowled 9 balls and conceded at least 11 off them. So that's an interesting one. This is full though, so we're just going to defend this to the leg side. Good shot. And off the first over, 11, 8 to I was going to say Anderson for some reason there. But 8 to Strauss and 3 to Sundries, as Jonathan Agnew would call it. But here we go. The new batsman in. As you can see, he's having a chat to Strauss now. And it's Michael Vaughan who will face his first ball in the 2009 Ashes. How will he cope with this? They're bowling it pretty full to him. It has hit him, but it's nowhere near as far as I'm concerned. Going down the offside, and that's fine. But that was a very full ball for Ben Hilfenhaus, who's opening up the batting to be bowling at Vaughan. And this is a pretty risky one, because again, they're bowling these quite full. Don't blame them though. Michael Vaughan's bound to be feeling the pressure, as experienced as he is. It is big pressure. And if we miss time one of these, of course, we could be clean bowled. But you can't duck or miss them. You've got to play them, or else you are going to be clean bowled. So an interesting strategy here from Hilfenhaus. Certainly wasn't like this with Johnson. It was very much short balls, but inside edge. Just about hits the bat. If not, of course, it would have been plumb, because these are all straight at the stumps. But an interesting tactic here from Ben Hilfenhaus. Another no ball, though, so that is going to be another run to the extras. And a good defensive shot, probably the best shot that Vaughan's played yet. But this series, it's going to end at some point pretty soon. We've got 2 good tests still to go. The Ashes is still got to be decided, so I'm excited for that. But of course, this series will end at some time soon. But I will discuss earlier. Yeah, I can't get my words out. I will discuss nearer to the date what's going to happen after this series is finished. But I think you guys have really enjoyed it, and I've certainly enjoyed it, which is great. But Michael Vaughan faced an over, no problems. Very full though, as you can see from that graph there. Very full from Ben Hilfenhaus. Meaning that he doesn't score any runs. And that's why you take advantage of the bouncers, because some overs you're not going to score anything. And maybe Mitchell Johnson should take some inspiration from that, because, again, full balls, we're just going to defend at the start. We're not going to have a whack at those. But with those bouncers we got all day, there's not as much risk. Of course, with a full ball, if you play it, if you miss time it, you can be out of bounce. It could probably just be an edge, and it's not going to be anything that's fatal. But a few edges from the batsmen so far, and they're hurting themselves a little bit out here. But 12 for no wickets so far. As I've said, we want a partnership. That doesn't mean dawdling for 10, 12 hours. That means still getting some runs, a little bit like here. Oh, I thought that might have been caught there. I was worrying, and that could get to the boundary. Looks like it will. It's got the legs. That was a good shot. A little bit too much in the air for my liking, personally. But it will certainly do. I panicked. If there's a fielder there, he would have caught it. And I did worry. That's why I didn't run for a bit. But again, another 4 from Strauss, and he goes into double figures quite quickly. So, a very comfortable start for Andy. Vaughan I can't say the same about. But it might be a good idea to get Strauss on strike for the next over, because, well, actually, we can keep Vaughan on strike. He's perfectly capable But Helfenhaus trying to exploit that, I think, in the first couple of overs. But another nice shot from Strauss to the leg side. Just bowling too many tempters is Mitchell Johnson, and he's suffering as a result. I don't think he'll be on the pitch for that long. A very good bowler, no doubt about that. But in these first 2 overs, he's bowled way too many tempters. Of course, given 3 runs away just in no balls. So, and of course, he's given away 19 of the 20 runs so far. So I don't think he'll be on for too long. We'll have to see though, and I'm guessing Helfenhaus will get a second over after he performed in his first over. But 20 for no wicket. Of course, Strauss getting 16 of the runs so far, and Michael Vaughan still on dot. But it's Ben Helfenhaus to face, to come in for Michael Vaughan again. He's bowling it fairly full. Again, this is nasty. This is really good bowling, to be fair. You have to credit them. Seems if we try and bowl there, they've got the guts to have the time, but I really haven't, I'll be honest. But that's a decent defensive shot. Nothing fantastic. We've struggled with timing so far, but there's a lot of risk, and I think the personal attachment for Michael Vaughan to get a good innings as well. But all these have been full so far. But decent stuff. Really need to get him off the mark. I think you look a little bit nervous until you get off the mark. But great bowling from Helfenhaus to restrict the score. I've never known them bowl this full in all of the matches so far. So it does make you wonder whether there is some psychological system in the game. It seems odd he's bowling full to Michael Vaughan. Well, that's a good defensive shot, is it? No. The first ball we attacked. And it's not gone as hoped for Vaughan. I just got a little bit irritated there. Really, we should have just defended out the over again. But Ben Helfenhaus gets his wish. All full balls, and the one time we attack, it wasn't a good shot. And that experiment, at least for now, really hasn't worked. That's a real shame. And Michael Vaughan gone for none. But as you can see, his rating's 80, so actually above anyone but Peterson, so that's interesting. But yeah, begrudgingly, we're going to have to bring Ian Bell in straight away. We wanted a good opening partnership. We haven't got one because they've got Michael Vaughan for none. But another full ball bowled here to Ian Bell. That's a real shame about Vaughan. Again, they're all full balls. You had to try and attack one and get a few runs at some point. But it's a dot but for Michael Vaughan, unfortunately, there. It happens. We'll have to see how he gets on in the second innings. If he does have a second innings, of course. But that's just contrasted with such open bowling from Mitchell Johnson. You can really have a whack at this. It's so easy to have a whack at, to be honest. And we're going to go for free here. We should get them fairly easily. We have to have a quite decent run. But we get free and Ian Bell's on strike. So a good start from Andrew Strauss. Again, his opening partner letting him down a little bit. But another bouncer here from Mitchell. This is just baffling. Again, perfect shot. You can time those so well. It just shows a complete difference between the batting and, the batting with different bowlers. Because, well, if it was Helfenhaus length, then we would have probably got, what, 5 or 6 so far? From those no balls and a few singles potentially, but no, he's not bowling very well, this Mitchell Johnson, because we can just exploit him. But has he got his wish this time? Oh, that was a poor shot. We shouldn't have really gone for the single there. But we did get away with it through some quite abysmal fielding, really. He did have the chance to catch that. I think it did carry. But Andrew Strauss on 19. Bell on 4. And this run rate is way over what it would be. It's purely because it's Mitchell Johnson bowling. Oh, that's just playing with fire a little bit at the moment. So we have to be a little bit careful from these bouncers, because they're trying to do what they did with the other batsman, Michael Vaughan. Get us to play an attacking shot, and we're out then. So we might have to curb it a little bit. But another good shot there from Bell. And that should get to the boundary. I mean, we are leaking runs easily from the Aussies, and as far as I'm concerned, take every run we can. That's my mentality here.
We all know as well that the impact of a top-class spinner like Shane Warne.
Another bounce. I think they've all been bouncers this over, which really isn't good, to be honest. But that another poor shot. Oh, I mean, we get away with a single again, do we? Oh, that's close. It is third umpire this time. 2 poor shots really from Ian Bell, and well, if we didn't get away with this, we'd probably be deserved, because again, poor fielding. But we shouldn't be given that many opportunities. I think we're in. Yeah, yes, for goodness sake, we'd pass the bloody stumps. But 34 for 1. I'll just show you now. I mean, Helfenhaus's, well, 1 run. 33 runs from Mitchell Johnson. So Helfenhaus is going to come back in. He's going to stay with that classic full ball, I would say. No, actually, not full this time, but wide of off stump. So not attempt to go for. That's actually a no ball. So his economy rate is just doubled in that 1 ball. But still fairly full. Again, we can afford to defend a little bit now. Get into the crease. It's a much slower ball, that was. So timing a little bit off. But both of these into double figures, which is nice to see after 5 overs. Again, there's a case possibly Bell could open. But the trouble with opener, and the trouble always has been with opener, that they're so exposed that they don't really get to do their full craft. That's the problem with Joe Root at 3 at the moment. You could have Bell at opener. For the sake of argument, you could have FLINTOFF at opener. But, you know, if proven by Michael Vaughan, if he got out in 2 overs, then you can't use him then. You almost need a sacrificial figure, really, at opener. Unless they're like a Strauss or a Cook, who are really solid. It's inside edge, though, from Bell there. Hilfenhaus just seems to be bowling a lot better than Mitchell Johnson. I know the numbers say that, but I think you can see that in the strength of his balls. But Mitchell Johnson, no, they've all been bounced and not good enough. I mean, I don't know why they're appealing that. Yes, it's hit Ian Bell, which is a little bit of a concern, but that's not going to loop back in. It's just a straight shot outside the off stump. But I think we've actually only got the 1 here from that no ball. I'm quite happy to keep that. Just leave that 1. And just 1 off the over. So if Hilfenhaus was bowling, as I've just said, it would be 2 or 3. We wouldn't be on much at all. But Mitchell Johnson giving way too much away. And no surprise that Stuart Clark is going to bowl his first ball of the Ashes straight away. Because Mitchell Johnson has been an absolute disaster. Just leave that 1. They're just tempters out there. And we've got plenty of time to get used to the crease. But interestingly, here comes a bouncer. Well, not a bouncer, but certainly not a good length. And that's been a bit of a poor shot from Strauss. But we get away with it, get a single, put Bell back on strike. Singles we can deal with now. And not every shot's going to be perfect. You get a little bit of luck sometimes. You can get away with the odd poor shot. Another short ball here. Another poor shot, really. But again, we should get away with 2 here. It's a little bit of a risk playing with fire this early on. But we'll get it.
2 more to the total.
But at least Stuart Clark, yes, they're bouncers, but they're not as ridiculous as Mitchell Johnson. But that being said, he's getting fairly close to that. Decent shot, up in the air. And that should get to the boundary fairly easily. I don't know why they don't take the Hilfenhaus approach. It's working. This isn't. But am I complaining? Sure as hell not. Just analysing the situation. But a 4, I think it's Ian Bell on strike, isn't it? A 4 for Ian Bell. 16 for Bell, 21 for Strauss, none for Vaughan. And, well, 5 extras conceded so far. But if you compare it to Mitchell Johnson's bowling, a pretty decent over from Stuart Clark. Bit of a slower pace from Stuart Clark as well, which is a little bit confusing to play. But after 7 overs, we're on exactly 6 and over. And we've lost 1 man, which is Michael Vaughan. We've still got Cook, Collingwood, Peterson, 3 really solid batsmen to come. So not too much to worry about. But these 2, if they can stick at it for a long time, would be brilliant. But so this is full from Hilfenhaus. Good shot though this time. Could just play it on the leg side. Not much worry about that. We won't quite get a boundary. No surprise really. We'll just get the 2 runs and we'll take that. Especially against Hilfenhaus, who's been so tight so far. I've never seen him be so tight in his bowling, but really good bowling. Good defensive shot. Of course, Test cricket, it's not all about whacking it about. It is all about defence. Taking your time, patience. It's the true form of the game. I don't care what anybody says. T20 ODI. Cricket World Cup was brilliant, but nothing touches this in terms of class. These Test cricket. Just going to go wide of off stump. No point playing that. It's not going to swing back in. If it was a spinner, yes, we'd defend it, but the clue's in the name, spinner. Unless it was a brilliant in-swinger, which they don't bowl that many of them. That was a nice defensive shot there from Andrew Strauss. Only 2 runs so far off this over, just the ones that we scored earlier. Get a few more though now. That was a nice drive through the field. Very crowded field to the offside, but we get through it nonetheless. And get another 4 to keep the run rate at exactly 6 and over. Nice shot there from Andrew Strauss. And that moves us on quite nicely. Strauss getting on quite nicely, 27 off 25. And from the first half an hour, we've played 8 overs and scored 48 runs. So very much us with the advantage. Yes, we've conceded 1 wicket. That's disappointing. Coming around the wicket now is Stuart Clark. Interesting tactic. We've not been facing that many of these. Can just play him straight, which is nice though. But because we're scoring the runs off... Well, we scored a lot of runs in that stupid Mitchell Johnson stint. We can afford to relax a little now. I mean, ultimately, unless you're really chasing a total, there's no point where you need to whack it this early and get runs. But no, just defending this, it's absolutely fine. Just get a feel for the crease. Again, you can, even though I've had only a few days out from this game, you can get a little bit confused about timing and that sort of thing. So it's good just for practice for that. But this should be a decent shot. Lovely. A little bit of a slower ball. That's why I hesitated just a tad, but certainly didn't look like it from the stroke of Ian Bell there. We've defended 4 of them out, but we have our treat this time. A nice boundary, and that takes over 50. Ian Bell into the 20s. Of course, Ian Bell got a really good century. Must have been the second match now. It wasn't in the last match. It could have even been the first match now. I can't really remember. But was it another 4 there? Yeah, another 4 there. And yeah, we're doing well here. Good, nice and consistent. But in terms of simulation, etc., what will we do? I don't know, actually. Leave this one. Yeah, we seem to do something similar every time. I'm not quite sure. We might play straight from where we finish off, because we always have that point where we've kind of got the middle. Oh, that's a brilliant shot from Andrew Strauss, by the way. A little bit of a shorter length from Hilfenhaus. He's loosened up a little bit in the last few overs. If he'd just kept bowling full, it'd have been fine. But what we always tend to do is simulate about 20 overs, and it seems we're kind of 3 or 4 wickets down. We're bowling with the same, batting with the same batsman. I think what we want to do, the one thing we haven't done is achieve a really good, nice partnership at the start. So I think we'll just bat from where we were. Maybe simulate, say, 5 or 10 overs, but nothing massive, and try and get a good early inning start. But really nice 2 shots there from Andrew Strauss and 2 boundaries in a row. He's heading towards a 50. Now he's starting the bounces, is he, Hilfenhaus? Again, Andrew Strauss can play them solidly. No need to run. We'll make sure we do, just in case the ball completely stops, just to make sure we get something out of it. But again, Ben Hilfenhaus, really loose now, bowling the bouncers, maybe trying to get a wicket to separate this partnership, which is building nicely. But a balanced pace now, so they are trying to get the fielders in. That's going straight past. Oh, control disconnected. To be fair, it's not happened today. I think on my Christmas list is a new rechargeable battery pack. Going around the wicket though for the last ball. Oh, that's interesting. Thought I'd give that a go. Just going to be a single because there's somebody there. But that was coming down the leg side. It wasn't going to swing back in. So I thought, why not? Let's try and get a single. And after 10 overs, we are on 65. I think we'll play 2 or 3 more overs. We got through these quite quickly. But now we've done very well so far. A very sort of defensive pace, but still all in the infield. So trying to get a wicket if we play a bad shot. We played our fair share of those so far. But a really good start for us. Again, I think we are controlling this Ashes series now. But with this side, that's to be expected. A very good Australian side as well, of course. But we've got a very good squad here. I think I can exclusively confirm that to you guys that are watching this series, because if you are the kind of late stay club, if you stayed to this point, that I have secured a job. So just trying to think, this comes out on Sunday, so a week on Monday I will be in full-time work. So that's a little bit of nice news for you guys. Maybe not in terms of content, but that'll be all explained in a community post.
There is a lot of talk about
But I thought I'd give it a little bit of an exclusive, a Sunday exclusive to you guys.
what you want more than anything else is good fast bowlers. And
Oh, that's full. Very full from Stuart Clark.
that's just going to have to
Defence might be on the agenda here, but I think it was going to go wide of off stump anyway, so we're fine with that.
for the opposition. I think that is where
It's just a shame about Vaughan. If it would have been 65 for no wicket, it'd have been a brilliant start, but
pairs come from.
again, these things happen. Vaughan will get another chance at opener.
And they keep
I'll have to see how he gets on. If it's another duck, he won't be in the last test, simple as. Because Flintoff, of course, will be coming back, but if he plays really well, then we can't really leave him out.
one of those two and a little bit of respite.
I'll tell you something about Hilton House. I don't know why he's changed his approach. Because I'm mugging him now. You just think, he ought to think, maybe I ought to go back to my previous approach. You know, the one that the famous Michael Vaughan couldn't get any runs off for 12 balls and then got out? Yeah, that one. Instead, I'm bowling short and just letting the batsman have runs. Well, he hasn't listened to me. I'm not bothered though. This one we've gone to the fielder this time because the fielder's better placed. And it will just be a single. He stopped that nicely considering how far it went out to the field. But a very good shot. So it did get to him fairly quickly there. But Straussy back on strike. But we are on 70 now, so a really good start for us. Bit of a poorer shot, but we get away with it. We'll get two though this time. Funnily enough, it works both ways. If you hit a poorer shot, then it's slower out the outfield. So sometimes it takes them longer to catch it. So that you get two. It's funny that. You play a worse shot but get more runs. Bit of a poor shot again, but we'll just get the single. We are getting a little bit aggressive for our own good now, so just try and defend a little bit now, I think. Don't be too stupid about anything. Couldn't really give up a chance like that, though, even though I said I was going to defend. Just a single, though, there. Pretty good fielding from the Aussies, despite leaking a lot of runs. Another short one. Absolutely no idea why. But we'll play it quite happily. And that, I think, is another boundary for Strauss.
Well, the bowler won't like that too much.
We might as well play an over or two more, just to see if he can get to his 50. He's on 47 off 40 balls. Very strong start. And Ian Bell accompanied him for 26. The partnership's got to be pretty big now because, of course, Vaughan didn't last that long. 20, it's gone past 50, so it's 58, the partnership, for this second wicket. Possibly the biggest partnership we've had so far this series for the second wicket. Can't confirm that, but I'd guess that's the case. Stuart Clark, silly. Well, it was silly. Nearly worked out for him though. Nearly got that wicket. Nearly broke the partnership that I was just talking about. But because they're so lax in the field, we can afford to get a run. But that was a poor shot, especially with a lot of guys in the infield. Stuart Clark's fresh though, but hesitant. Well, there you go. Good shot though that time. You don't make the same mistake twice. 2 runs. Strauss will be back on strike. I think he's on 49 now. He's got to be. He was on 47. But 49 for Strauss. So just one off, I think I'm right in saying, his first 50 of the series. It's not a bad shot to get it with, is it? That should go for 4. Is it? Yes, it will. And Strauss picks up his 50. What an awesome way to start. Not the opening partnership, yes, fair enough. We can't cloud that, though. We can't make that cloud our great start to this innings. Because Andrew Strauss on his 50. I think we'll just play out this over and then call it a day. It was a good milestone to get 250. And then, as I've said, on Tuesday we will continue our innings. Probably simulate 5 overs, let's say. And then we'll carry on from there. No ball though, so that's another run for us. So 1 more ball to face in this episode. And if you have enjoyed, of course, leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe for more cricket content. Had to provide a bit of a show for the last shot. That's straight to the boundary. Andrew Strauss I think it's fair to say he's absolutely full of confidence. And what a way to end the episode. A real nice perfect shot played there through the infield, and nobody was going to catch that. And we bring up, after 13 overs, the 90. Australia were out for that practically in the first innings, but that's going to be it for today's episode. Hope you've enjoyed it. A very good start for us. Again, disappointing that we've lost 1 wicket, but these two have started very nicely. And as you can see, a lot of good batting to come. Of course, side bottom, not till number 9, so that's a bit of a shame. We might have to promote to number 4. But thank you very much for your company. I've been TIJ Gamer, and until next time, I will see you guys later. Goodbye for now.